Okay, so this one says assume 42% of us has group O blood type. A hospital needs at least 152 donors with group O blood. If 390 volunteers donate blood, estimate the probability that the number with group O blood will be at least 152. Is this pool of donors likely sufficient? We know this is going to be a continuous distribution. We know we're going to do more than 152, right? So we know we're going to be shading to the right. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through, like, when do I know how to do this process? We know we're going to be working with this one. And what do you need here? You need a mean and standard deviation. So what you want to do is, let's see if we can figure, I don't see a mean and standard deviation, but let's start with step one, which is, do I have an N? Well, yeah, I have 390 donors, right? How about P? P would be the probability of success. That would be getting a donor who has group O blood, which would be 0.42. And then finally Q would be what? 0.58. Remember, Q is equal to 1 minus P. 1 minus 0.42 is 0.58. Now we're going to move on to the second step, is to make sure that we check to make sure we can use the normal distribution to approximate the binomial. The situations we needed for that was n times p needed to be greater than 5. So when I do 390 times 0.42, I think that will be bigger than 5, but let's just double check. Yep, 163.8. All right, and now we need to also check to make sure n times q is larger than 5. So that would be 390 times 0.58, which is 226.2. These are both bigger than 5, so we can go on to the next step, which is find the mean and standard deviation, which is where I kind of started with this. Well, the mean is n times p. We already did that, so we know that is 163.8. We need to go find that standard deviation. Remember, we find the standard deviation by doing the square root of NPQ, which would be the square root of 390 times 0.42 times 0.58, which is 9.75. So my standard deviation is 9.75. That was a lot of work, but now I think we can start to get to the question, is we want a pool of at least 152. That would be more than 152. Do we include it or not? We are, right? So to find the probability of at least 152, after our continuity correction, we're actually going to enter 151.5. So the probability that we get at least 152 donors is equal to, we're going to go to the Excel spreadsheet now. Our mean was 163.8. Our standard deviation was 9.75. And that x value we said was going to be 151.5. And we get 89.6%. So about 89.6% of the time, we will have enough donors. It says, is this pool of donors likely sufficient? Well, 89% of the time you're going to have enough donors, so I think I would say yes here.